Hey guys, I guess this is my first video, so it's just gonna be like a little tutorial on how I draw things. It's kind of a lazy drawing, and it's based off of like anything else I draw, but this one's really lazy. Anyways, I start out like drawing the anatomy of the head, so you would want to start with a circle, then put a line straight in the middle, and at the end of that line, you want to like create like a chin, and then that'll be like the base for your face, and the line will actually help you center everything like you want. Anyways, the ears are attached to the jaw. Well, like they're right on the jawline, so that's where you want to place the ears. And then of course you want the hair. The hair has to go over the skull because I mean everyone's hair is pretty poofy, and it's not like the same as your head, basically. Anyways, you want to draw some clothes, of course. You can do it however you want. Just make sure your folds aren't like crazy weird. Folds normally go in like a triangular shape instead. So yeah. With fingers, the thumb basically just starts lower than the rest of your fingers. So like you would put the thumb out on the side, and then it would have a deeper dip than all the other fingers. Anyway, so you can see that when I do both hands. Hands are a lot simpler than people would make it, because the pinky is just smaller, middle finger's longer, and your thumb is just has a lower dip. Anyways, on to the face. So this is just how I draw eyes because it's simple to like. If I wanted to animate with this, it makes it so much easier because it's like just a nice lazy way of drawing eyes, so it can be pretty consistent. But you can draw eyes however you want. This is just, a simple way, and it looks decent. And of course, I am lining everything. Also, with the nose, you can do it however you want. I mean, you could do like a semicircle either way, and your nose could be going up or down. You can just draw a dot. You don't have to draw a nose, but this is just how I do it. Same thing with the lips. Of course, in real anatomy, your lips have this like little, I guess, hole at the edges, like your mouth crease, and so I draw that basically. Anyways, just more lining. And outlining is just, the sketch, but just neater lines, like the lines you actually want to keep. But try not to like make it too sketchy because you don't want it to look, bad. And then, of course, with the fingers again, which are super annoying to do, but they can be a lot easier than people make them seem. Especially when you have like a stylized drawing like cartoons or anime or something such as. And of course the ends of your fingers have a point, but I make it more drastic because I think it looks pretty, good with my style. So you can just enjoy the little. Oh, and sometimes my hand like accidentally hits the capacity on the layer button, and that's why it goes all gray and stuff. And then I turn it back up because I don't want my opacity to be low. You do want your opacity to be low when you're drawing stuff like tears or drool, because you don't want it to be like just straight up white. Anyways, here's how I color in my like eye lines and stuff. I like to make it pretty wide and then just push the fill button and then fill in any like little extra details. It's basically the easiest way for me, even though it looks kind of messy, I guess. Or maybe kind of large, but that's just the way it works with my style. Of course, for this reason, the sketches are always better, but it's alright. Anyways, I delete my sketch layer, and I'm just left with the line art, and then I go into my colors, and I like to make the skin color orange, but like slightly towards the red color instead, because it makes like a good skin color, so the skin's not too yellowy, or it's not too red, or it's not just straight up orange, because you don't want Donald Trump. I also like to make it super pale a lot of the time, unless I'm doing a darker character. Then I'll have it on a lower saturation, because I love using lower saturation colors, because you don't want like a bright red with a bright lime green, because that does not look good. So I use very desaturated colors, like my colors are always basically in the gray zone, but still with the color I want. But it just makes it look a whole lot more neat. So that's also what I do with skin on like darker skin. I'll lower the saturation, or just, you know, put it towards the gray and have like a darker tone. Of course, with the background, you want it to kind of contrast so the character stands out more. I'm always bad at this because I don't really know what to put, and you don't want it to like blend in. So like if you're using a purple color scheme, you don't want to have purple as the background, otherwise it'll just all clash with well, not clash, but like blend in too much. So with this one, I have a lot of purple, and green doesn't really go with purple, but it also doesn't clash too much. So I have a very desaturated green. Also, as you can see here, I made the shadowing too dark, so all I did was just move it up a little bit on the color scheme to make it a bit paler. So the way you want to shade is just decide where you want your light source to be. Usually I just assume the light source is from up high, so I make everything that is like lower, I make that shaded. So you can just kind of assume where the light source would be. And here I'm adding just a few extra details because I don't want this kind of look that boring, you know. Oh, and whenever I lose a color, I just use the little dropper tool at the bottom toolbar. It's like that little, I don't know what the word is, like a little needle looking thing. So you just want to press that and then press the color you want, and then you can switch it up or just use the color that you are trying to find. You can also do this from reference photos, like if you were to pull a photo from whatever you're trying to draw, like if you're trying to redraw a character or something. You can use the eyedropper tool to get the colors from the character if you want the exact same ones. Normally I'll just make my own color palette for characters I draw. Even if they're from a different show or something, I'll just do it closest to their color palette, but how I want it. Because, as I said before, I like my desaturated colors. I know this video is pretty boring, but it's just kind of informative and not, you know, fun. But I will make more interesting ones in the future after these few informative ones. So basically after I finish shading, I'll add like highlights to mostly the face, because I mean, normally the body is not very shiny, but you know, even when you're doing makeup, you want the face to like have this little shine. So I'll add highlights on the nose, above the lips, on the bottom lip, and in the eyes, of course, because in reality, if you were looking at something, there would be a shine in your eyes, but I add a little bit extra detail on the eyes instead. But if you wanted, you could just add like 2 circles in the eyes and it would be natural. So I'm doing 2 ways of blush. The first one was just scribbling on a darker pink. And the second one is you use the airbrush tool to, you know, add on some like in heat looking blush, I would call it, because it makes it more glowy. And anyways, I also add a little bit of glowy airbrush to the gold parts of his outfit and his little shine, just for a little extra oomph, and that's it. Thanks, bye.